Things to know before you move to Northport.
We're going to cover everything you need to know, and we're getting started right now.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Northport area,
make sure to call, text, or email me. I am a local realtor. I'll have my information in the description box below.
She hears from people all the time, and we love it.
The first thing you need to know when moving to Northport is that Northport is a very quiet, very rural area. The way I like to explain it, at least for people moving from the Midwest, is it's like a country feel. You feel like you're literally in the country. It's very quiet. You have more space in between houses and bigger lots.
And another thing you'll want to know before moving to Northport, which is a great thing to know, is that it's a pretty safe, low crime area overall. Good for families, good schools, really highly rated schools. So on all those sides of things, like, it fits in with that kind of small town rural feel, right? It's kind of what you're looking for if you want something for a family. Maybe tell them another reason why it's great for families.
It is great for families because you can get much more house here for your money. And by that I mean bigger, newer homes. And also you get a bigger backyard for your kids or your dog to run around.
Especially when you compare it to like some of the surrounding area cities,
yes,
like Venice, Welland Park, which is kind of part of Northport, Inglewood. You're definitely going to get more for your money here.
Yes, and to give you a little more perspective on price, a 3-bed, 2-bath home in Northport, I would say 1,500 square feet or so, maybe 1,700 square feet if you get lucky. You can find something like that for the low 300s. If like a really nice house can go up into, you know, the 400s or 500s, but you can find something, maybe it won't be quite as updated, but those are little things that you can work on down the road. You don't have to, you know, move into a moving ready home. And I'm not saying that they would be like a DIY project. It just might not be quite as updated.
But in general, I'd say the most Northport homes are new-ish,
yes,
you know, 20-ish years old or less. There's some older ones, but there's not a lot of them.
No. And yeah, within the 300s, you would find something, in my opinion, nice that you can make your own. Another reason why Northport is great for families is that it's an up-and-coming area. It's really close to Welland Park. Welland Park will have its own downtown and shopping areas. Northport already has a lot of shopping, and it's close to Port Charlotte as well, which has a lot of shopping. But tell us more about why Northport is up-and-coming.
Well, it's got a lot of opportunity with the lots. As you can see, there's a lot of lots around us, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for growth while still keeping it quiet. There's so much vacant land. So because of that, it's one of the fastest growing areas in the entire United States, partially because of the Welland Park area, but also partially because of the actual, like what we call Northport. And so because of that, it's growing quickly, but it doesn't get that sort of density and traffic and all that craziness that you get with some of these other big cities. Also, it's very close to a lot of other big cities if you want to do that sort of thing. So you can hop onto I-75. You're about 30 to 45 minutes from Sarasota, about a 45-minute drive, depending on what end you're on of Northport to get to Fort Myers. So there's a lot of options there. You're really close to Venice. You got beaches, probably within a 20-30-minute drive. So that's why it's such an up-and-coming area, because it puts you in an affordable area, but you can tap into all these other areas that are nearby that are, you know, some are established, some are coming to the area that are new, like Welland Park. Another thing to know before moving to Northport, Florida is well and septic is going to be sort of the norm for the majority of the city.
Yes, and this is very common around Florida. Like, you'll have your areas where you are on city water or city utilities, but there are other areas where it's a little less undeveloped, so you are going to have to be on well and septic. It's more of a preference. Some people love well water, some people don't want to be on well water. It's more of a personal preference, really.
And one thing to consider with that is, so if you're on well and septic, there's a little maintenance that goes into the septic. With the well water, though, your water is going to be free, which is a nice perk. And if the water quality is not the greatest, you can always get a reverse osmosis system put into your home. And now all your water is going to be purified, clean, much better water than even if you were on city water, probably. So something to consider, you know, if you were willing to put in the investment that one time to that reverse osmosis system, you can have some great and free water.
Yes, and the only thing is that obviously if something goes wrong with the well, you will have to fix it, and it's not that expensive really. So maybe just even having like a savings dedicated specifically to that in case something were to go wrong with the well or the septic. So how often does Northport flood?
That's definitely something that you need to know before moving.
I mean, a lot of cities in Florida are built so that the road will actually flood if we get a lot of rain. And Northport is no exception to that. But the cool thing about Northport is that most homes are raised up so that if it rains a lot, the home will not flood. And they actually have a ditch, which you can see here, and that ditch will prevent basically your home from flooding, but the road might flood a little bit. Another thing to know is that there is a lot of new construction homes. Some of those homes are spec homes that are already built out or that are almost finished, and you are able to purchase them. In some cases, you would be able to find a home maybe for around the same as a resale home, but probably won't be as big as, you know, a resale home. So it's kind of like pick and choose what you need or what you want. But there is a lot of new construction going on in Northport.
And I think it's amazing for that to have so many options, because you can get like some more of like a spec home that's maybe just a little more bare bones, but it is a brand new home and you can maybe get it a little more cheap. But then there's also some amazing, I mean, both resale and new construction options for like more custom home builds. We've seen some homes in Northport that like we live in Venice, and there was 3 homes that were in consideration with us that were resale, that were custom builds in Northport, and they made it so tempting. It was those 3 versus 1 in Venice. And yeah, the homes here, the opportunity is really, really amazing.
Yeah, so basically if you want a really nice home, Northport is the way to go. Another thing Northport is great for is there is a lot of shopping. They have a lot of different department stores, and you're not too far from the UTC shopping area in Sarasota, Fort Myers, and Port Charlotte Mall.
Yeah. Yes. And there's a lot of the more like big box stores here. You're gonna get your TJ Maxx. I think there's a Burlington, there's a Dick's Sporting Goods. So there's a lot of options as far as big box stores. A little less on the mom and pop shop side of things, but if you want a lot of that, you can go to Venice, you can go to Inglewood. Restaurants are typically gonna be more chains here. There's a few mom and pop type places. Crepe Chef is an amazing place.
Yes.
Technically Port Charlotte address, but it's right on the edge of Northport. So yeah, and if you want more mom and pop type restaurants, again, Inglewood, Venice, Sarasota, lots of options there. And then as far as grocery shopping, no shortage of options there as well. There's a lot of them. Obviously, you got your Publix.
With that being said, if you're looking to buy a home in the Northport, Venice, Sarasota area, make sure to call, text, or email us. I am a local realtor here.
She hears from people all the time. We love it when you guys get a hold of her. If you found the video helpful, subscribe, turn on all notifications. Leave a comment with any questions you got, and we'll get to it in a future video, or we'll just reply to you and
Live breezy.